Hello and welcome to this part of the chapter where we'll be learning about the part 2 of infectious diseases. In this part, we will be talking about the principles of treatment, how we can treat infectious diseases. About non-infectious diseases, like I told you previously, that they are not communicable, right? They are not contagious. They cannot be transferred or transmitted from an infected person to a healthy person. So, to prevent a non-infectious diseases could be easy. You have to just take care of your individual health well-being, and if a person is suffering from a non-infectious diseases, you have to support them in order to make them feel motivated in order for their healthy recovery. But if you are suffering from infectious diseases, or if some other person close to you they are suffering from infectious diseases, then you may want to know, you may want to learn about what kind of treatments you can offer that person or yourself if you're suffering from one. So let's find out in this part of the chapter. Principles of treatment. There are two ways to treat an infectious disease. First of all, we will be talking about to reduce the effects of the diseases, right? So when a virus or a bacteria, it attacks you, so what kind of effects your body suffers from because of that disease, they can be reduced, they can be prevented by taking medicines. So medicine, they bring down the effect of the disease such as fever, such as pain, such as running nose. So by taking complete rest, you're basically conserving your own energy, so that the cells of your body, they do not want to do some extra workload, but the cells of your body are also helping you in order to recover, and they're preserving that energy. All those energy is being preserved to fight against that disease. And along with rest, if you are taking medicines, then this ensures that your body is able to recover very quickly. The second principle of treatment is to kill the cause of the disease. That is to kill microbes such as bacteria, fungi, protozoa, etc. So firstly, you have to reduce the cause of disease. That also you're doing by taking some important medicines, and by taking care of yourself, by giving your body some rest. Okay, but when you have to kill the cause of disease, that is obviously going to happen by your immunity, by your immune cells, but there has to be some other external factors that can help accelerate the process, that can help accelerate the process of that killing of the bacteria, fungi, etc. So by taking suitable antibiotics and drugs, your disease causing microbes could be killed. So in this cute cartoon over here, you can see that this is your antibiotic pill, okay, and it is helping you fight off that disease causing microbe. So this is that ugly microbe that you want to, your body and you want to get rid of, okay, and your antibiotic pills, they are going to help you to eliminate these microbes. This kind of symptom directed treatment by itself will not make the infected microbe go away, okay. For that, we need to be able to kill off the microbes. So what happens is that when certain kind of microbes are attacking you, for example, there are different kind of microbes that we have learned about, right? Bacteria, there is virus, there is fungi, okay, and then there is protozoa. So what is happening is that one simple medicine will not be enough for treating all these individual microbes. Some individual microbes may have even some sort of, there are different kinds of bacteria, right? So bacteria A can affect you in a certain way from bacteria B, and that is again going to be different from how bacteria C is affecting your body. So one medicine may not be effective for all these microbes. You need different medicines with different proportions, where the different microbes are being targeted against. Okay, so one way is to use medicines that kill these microbes that we have already learned in previous slide. The other way is to that those medicines should be specific, so they are targeting those specific microbe that you are trying to eliminate. So what happens is that when these virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, they enter your body, they're obviously going to choose their favorite organ to attack. All right, they're gonna affect the normal efficiency of those organs. All right, so you have to choose the drugs that you have to choose those drugs, you have to choose those medicines that will help you eliminate how that a microbe or microorganism is basically reacting inside your body. So what you will be targeting against is the essential biochemical life process. That means you will be targeting against that how these microbes, they are trying to say divide and multiply inside your body. You need to stop them from dividing, you need to stop them from multiplying. That is how and when the quantity will be less, so that your immune cells plus the extra drugs that you're taking, those antibiotics, they can help eliminate you these viruses or these other microbes. All right, so how can you stop them from dividing and multiplying? You can stop them by cutting off their essential biological life process, means their biochemical process, their ability to interact with your body. You have to stop giving them that necessary condition of how they are interacting inside your body. So these processes, there are certain processes by which they function, and these may be the pathways for the synthesis of new substances. All right, so these pathways will not be used by us either. For example, our cells may make new substances by a mechanism different that is used by these bacteria. So when a bacteria or say a virus or any other microbe, they are entering inside your body functions in a very peculiar way. Let's call it X. Okay, but what does this bacteria have to do? It does not have to do with how your body is how your body is carrying itself. It only has to destroy this bodily process. All right, so let's say that its process is Y, its biochemical process is Y, and this biochemical process of this bacteria, or for much efficiency, let's call this microbe, because just calling this bacteria could be problematic. So microbe. Okay, so the biochemical process of this microbe is obviously going to be different from how your body is carrying itself. Why? Because it wants to eliminate your bodily process. So let's call this biochemical process as Y. So you have to find a specific drug that blocks the bacterial synthesis pathway, a specific drug, a specific medicine that is going to target this special biochemical process that this virus or bacteria or protozoa or fungi or any other microbe is using in order to hamper, in order to destroy your body's metabolic activities. So when it happens, it is not going to affect our own bodily process. It is only going to affect that interactive biochemical process of that microbe. Okay, I hope this is clear. This is what is achieved by the antibiotics that we are already familiar with, and we also saw how the antibiotics process in the previous slide. One reason why making antiviral medicines is harder than making antibacterial medicines is that viruses have few biochemical mechanisms of their own. I'm going to tell you what happens. See, the structure of the virus is somewhat like this. Okay. This is the structure of your virus. Okay. What happens is that this microscopic organism, this microbe, it attaches, it goes inside your body. All right, and with the help of these hooks, okay, with the help of these hooks, it attaches itself onto your body cells, inside your body cells. Okay, and what happens is that it has some DNA inside it. Okay, what viruses do is that the DNA inside this virus is gonna come out, okay, and is gonna affect the DNA that is there in your cell. Okay, the DNA that is there in your cell, and is gonna, this virus, like a kidnapper, I told you to imagine, I told you to visualize the microbe affecting our body like a kidnapper does to innocent people, right? So this virus, visualize that it's gonna kidnap our cells, and it's gonna dictate our cells to not replicate the DNA that is found inside our cells, but to rather replicate the virus DNA. Okay, so when the virus DNA is replicated, what will happen? More viruses will be formed. All right. So it is dictating our body cells to form itself. All right, it's dictating it has kidnapped our body cells, it has made us vulnerable, and it is dictating, it is ordering our body cells to not multiply our healthy cells, but rather to multiply that infectious viral cells, so that the number of viruses could be more in our body, the number of virus cells could be more in our body, and our body will be in a state of constant malaise. Our body will not be healthy, our body will not be disease free. Okay, so viruses have few biochemical mechanisms. When I say, you must be knowing this, right, that COVID-19 is a virus, it is a viral infection. So one reason why this discovery of vaccine, or say this procurement of vaccine is different, why it is difficult to vaccinate such a mass population around, not just in India but all over the world. It is so difficult because COVID-19 is a viral disease. That means viruses, they use our machinery, our human machinery, okay, for their own life processes. And when it is basically targeting our cells and using our cells, okay, as a host body to multiply its cells, its unhealthy bodies inside our cells, it makes very difficult for a simple antibiotic drug to work against a virus. That is why this means that there are relatively few virus specific targets to aim at, and despite this limitation, there are now effective viral drugs. All right, so there are some viral drugs, but usually it is very, when a new virus erupts, like COVID-19 erupted last year, right? So when a new virus comes up, it is very difficult to find out a cure, because these viruses, they use our own machinery for their own life processes. Okay, antibiotics, these are chemicals, these are medicines, they block the biochemical pathway important for bacteria. Antibiotics, they are majorly used for the diseases caused by bacteria. They're usually effective against the diseases caused by bacteria. But like I just explained during the previous slide, that the biochemical process of a virus is very, very different from a bacteria. So antibiotics are not gonna work against viral infections, because the viruses do not have their own biochemical mechanisms, but they rather depend on us. They rather use our body, and they use our body to replicate their own viral cells. Okay, so now there are two ways to prevent disease. One is the general way and one is the specific way. General way, you can say that you have to take care of the air, the surrounding you're living in, the air you're breathing, the water you're drinking, the food you're eating, and all the other things. Like you have to take a proper nutritious food, so that to ensure that your immunity is healthy, your immunity is strong. Okay, and specific disease is microbe targeted disease, that what you will be targeting those certain microbes that are affecting your health. Okay, so general ways of preventing infections relate to preventing exposure. They can be for airborne diseases. While visiting public places, you have to wear masks, you have to avoid coughing in front of other people's faces, you have to use your elbow. So your COVID-19 precautions, remember your COVID-19 precautions, all right, because although it is a virus, but it is a virus that can be easily be transmitted via air. Okay, for waterborne, you have to ensure that you are clean drinking water is accessible to you, or you boil the water before you drink, or if you are keeping and storing water in some utensils, you have to make sure that those utensils and that water is covered. For vector-borne infections, you have to keep the surroundings clean. You do not have to keep any puddle of water open in the surrounding, as it's an allowance for the mosquitoes to come and breed. Okay, so you have to be. This was a very a very famous catchline when dengue was in vogue a couple of years back, that you have to keep, even now during monsoon seasons, you have to ensure that all those areas where water is open, and in all those utensils you have to keep them covered so that mosquitoes, they do not come and breed, and that can, you know, that can ensure that you are minimizing the effect of dengue, malaria, and other mosquito-borne diseases. You have to keep your self-immune system strong. That means you have to eat nutritious food so that your immune cells, they can fight off and kill microbes when it enter your body. Then you have to be ensured that there is an availability of proper and sufficient food for everyone, so that you have to take care of yourself as well as others around you. So okay, so that not just you, so that you are, you know, not in a state of contracting diseases, as well as others around you, they are also healthy and they are also not in a state of contracting diseases. Let's talk about the specific targeted solutions. It is achieved by the principle of artificial immunization, which is vaccination. It is a way the immune system is fooled into developing a memory for a particular infection by putting something that mimics the microbe we want to vaccinate against. So what happens in vaccination, also in this COVID-19 vaccine, is that you are either using a deadened, okay, or a very weak part of that microbe. Okay, there is something known as antigen. Antigen could be some very, you know, peculiar elements, such as it could be proteins, it could be lipids, it could be some of those chemical compounds, okay, that is also present in that live healthy virus. Okay, the virus that has full potential to cause disease in a healthy person. And this antigen, you have to procure this antigen into your vaccine. So your vaccine contains the deadened or the weak microbe of the microbe that particular microbe that you're fighting against, and it basically has that antigen. All right, that those proteins, those lipids, or those chemical compounds that the living microbe also has, the living virus also has. So what happens is that you are not basically injecting live virus inside your body, you are only injecting those deadened, those weak microbe inside your body that has that antigen, that has that specific chemical compounds that are also present in that live virus. When these compounds, they're injected inside you, which is known as vaccine. So when this vaccine is injected inside you, your immune system, it is going to react against this antigen. Why? Because this antigen is basically a foreign body, and your body, your immunity system in your body, it recognizes that, oh, this is an enemy body, this is a foreign body, and I have to fight against it. So your body is going to form antibodies. Okay, your body is going to form antibodies, and your body is going to remember that memory. Your body is going to remember that memory, develop as well as remember that memory, so that in the future, if a live virus were to enter your body, now that live virus, the vaccine that we had used had same antigen as that live virus. All right, so when that live virus is entering inside your body is going to remember that memory of that deadened antigen that it had, those antibodies that it had formed against the deadened antigen, and it's going to again secrete again. Your bloodstream will have your antibodies, these particular antibodies. That means your immune cells is going to develop these antibodies. I'm repeating again, the vaccine has deadened or weak microbes. These microbes has those antigen, has those chemical compounds, just protein, lipids, polysaccharides, etc. Those compounds that are also present in the live virus. Okay, so what happens is that your body is fooled in order to develop and remember a memory, that memory that is going to produce antibodies. So the antibodies is produced against this particular antigen. Now when a live virus is to enter your body, your body will immediately command the immune cells to produce these antibodies, because it will remember this antigen. It will remember this antigen that had been already injected inside you via that particular vaccine. This is how the process of immunization or vaccine happens. So vaccination is the process of injecting either killed or weakened microorganisms in a person's body to raise his immunity level, so that your immune cells can produce antibodies and they can combat against the viral diseases when the virus, if the live virus were to attack you. When vaccine is administered, having a killed or weakened microorganism, the body fails to recognize it, and in response, it secretes. Fails to recognize it means it recognizes, fails to recognize it as a human cell, as a human body. Okay, and now that it has identified that it is a foreign element that has entered, it is going to secrete certain antibodies that are going to kill the infection. Okay, I hope this is clear now. Vaccination. Now, the first vaccine was prepared by Edward Jenner in 1796. So, in the 18th century, we got our first vaccine by this scientist Edward Jenner, and he prepared it against smallpox. So, these days, many vaccines are given to a newborn child to raise its immunity. For most example, common example is the polio vaccine. That famous tagline that was that came along with polio vaccines was "Do boon zindagi ke." All right, so 2 drops of vaccine is going to prevent that newborn child to not fall sick, or to not fall susceptible to polio. Okay. Rabies virus is spread by the bite of infected dogs and other animals. There are anti-rabies vaccines for both humans as well as animals. So find out the plan of your local authority for the control of your rabies in your neighborhood, and then determine whether these measures are adequate or not. And if not, what improvements would you suggest? So this is an activity that you can carry around in your neighborhood. You can go on asking your municipal corporation that what kind of measures do they have for the control of rabies, and then you can determine, you can see for yourself whether those measures are adequate or not, whether those measures are sufficient or not. If those are not sufficient, then what other improvements can you refer to your local authority so that you as well as everyone in your neighborhood is safe from rabies. Question: why are we normally advised to take bland and nourishing food when we are sick? So you may have come across this when you're sick, especially when you have some common cold or a viral fever. You're supposed to take bed rest, and I have already told you why a bed rest is important. But you're also given very bland food, that is boiled food, nourishing food. Why? Because those food in which you use less spices, or those food which are not junk, okay, which are actually nutritious, is going to supply you with proper nutrients in your body. And since your body is sick, your body is in a very immediate need of as much healthy nutrients that it can get. So when you're supplying your body with nutrients, you're supplying your cells with all those important proteins, all those important carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals that may help your cells to fight against the disease causing microbe, and that can help your body recover quickly. What are the different means by which infectious diseases are spread? So the means of which they spread, we know there are different means such as air, there are airborne diseases such as TB, then there are waterborne diseases such as typhoid, then there is also physical contact diseases that are caused by physical contact, such as sexual diseases such as AIDS, such as syphilis. All right. What else? And there are animal-borne diseases such as rabies. Okay, so these are infectious. All right, infectious. They can be transmitted from an infected person to a healthy person, and they are spread via air, via water, and via physical contact, say such as sex, and also by certain animals. Okay. What precautions can you take in your school to reduce the incidence of infectious diseases? Now, this is something that I am leaving you with, okay? Because now that I've told you about all these precautions, you know that for certain, airborne diseases, you have to make sure that people are wearing masks, or when people are coughing or sneezing, they're covering their nose and mouth, or they're using a handkerchief. or say for example waterborne diseases, all the utensils covering having water, they are covered, there are no open utensils lying around, especially at the corners. Okay, so you can similarly think of other ways of how you can stop the incidence of infectious diseases, and that can also help you as well as all of your classmates and teachers in your school to be disease free. What is immunization? We know that immunization is vaccine. And what is vaccine? A vaccine is basically the administration of deadened or killed or even weakened microbes, so that your body can develop antibodies against this virus, against this microbe, so that when a live virus or when a live microbe were to attack your body, your health, your immune cells, they can immediately remember that memory, and they can immediately accelerate the process of the production of antibodies, so that your body is going to be safe against that particular disease. What are the immunization programs available at the nearest health center in your locality? Which of these diseases are the major health problems in your area? So this is again something that you can look up by coming in contact with the local authority. So at your nearest health center or at your nearest say pharmacy or your hospital, you can go and you can talk about that what are the immunization programs that are available, okay, especially for newborn children, and which of these diseases are the major health problems in your area. So this is a fun activity that you can do it on your own, and this is going to help you understand that how these various programs they occur, and how you as well as other people like you, they can advertise, they can encourage people, those people who are afraid of taking vaccines, that you can also go and get yourself vaccinated so that you can be prevented against this disease. Most importantly, this is very important today because of the fear that some people have for the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay, most of them are reluctant to take the vaccine, but you know that it is very imperative now to take the vaccine, so that when the actual coronavirus were to attack your body will have that memory to develop that antibody, so that your body can fight against COVID-19. This was all that we have learned in this chapter. That why do we fall ill? We fall ill. We have learned. We have had a look at the different kinds of diseases. We have had a look at what is a disease, how can we prevent disease, what is communicable disease, what is non-communicable disease, how do we differentiate between them, how do we take care of ourselves, how do we prevent these infectious diseases, so on and so forth. So I hope that I was able to help you with this chapter, with the concepts, the new concept that this chapter has to offer. Now let's tune up for some quick revision. What have we learned in this chapter? Why do we fall ill? Okay, we have learned about the various diseases, the kind of diseases, infectious disease, non-infectious diseases. We have learned about the principles of treatment. We have learned about the means of spread, how these diseases are spread, all right, so on and so forth. So let's talk about them one by one. Health is a state of physical, mental and social well-being. All of these factors are important for the achievement of a healthy body. Okay. Health of an individual is dependent on his or her physical surroundings and his or her economic status. Physical surroundings means that individual is also responsible, okay, for good health, as well as the community or the society that person is living in, so that there is a proper sanitation, there is a proper waste disposal, there is an access to proper drinking water, and economic status, so that there is an availability of nutritious food. All right, these factors are important for achieving a healthy body. Then diseases are classified as acute or chronic. Acute, where you have the diseases last for a very short period of time and the body is able to recover very quickly. And in chronic diseases, the disease lasts for a very long time, say for a few years, and some diseases may even last for a lifetime. Diseases may be due to infectious or non-infectious causes. Infectious causes means those causes that are contagious, that are communicable, that can be communicated from an communicated from an infected person to a healthy person, such as COVID-19, all right, such as your common cold, such as influenza, such as even tuberculosis. Whereas non-infectious diseases such as cancer, such as Alzheimer's disease, these diseases cannot be communicated from one person to another person, but they rather depend on that own individual. Okay. Infectious agents belong to different categories of organisms. They may be unicellular, microscopic, or multicellular, but mostly they are microscopic. There are very few multicellular organisms that can cause you infectious diseases. But the unicellular or the microscopic organism, they may be a virus, okay, they may be a bacteria, okay, they may be a protozoa, okay, and they may be fungi. So even though these are multicellular, remember they are microscopic. Okay, you cannot see them via your naked eye, even though they are made up of more than one cell. Okay, the category which a disease causing organism belongs decides the types of treatment. So you have to figure out what kind of disease you are having, whether it is a viral disease, bacterial disease, fungal disease, or a amoebic problem, or some other protozoan disease. Okay, so that the drugs that you are getting administered, be it antibiotics or be it vaccines, they can target that specific type of virus or that specific type of bacteria, so that their specific biochemical processes can be hindered. Infectious agents are spread through air, water, physical contacts or vectors such as mosquitoes, such as dogs, etc. Infectious diseases can be prevented by public health hygiene measures that reduce exposure to infectious agents. So public health hygiene measures such as the air that you're breathing. Okay, so people when they walk, they're wearing masks. People, when they're coughing or they're sneezing, they're using handkerchiefs. All utensils carrying water, they are covered, etc. So there has to be proper garbage disposal. All right, so these public health hygiene, they are very imperative so that infectious diseases can be stopped. Infectious diseases can also be prevented by immunization, that means by the administration of vaccine. This is mostly seen in viral cases because viruses, they have that very specific biochemical process. They target our own body for their own multiplicity. So effective prevention of infectious diseases in the case of community requires that everyone should have that access to public hygiene and immunization. So when each and every one of us would be able to take care of ourselves as well as all others around us, then only we would be able to prevent against diseases, especially infectious diseases. Because say if you are vaccinated or if you are safe, but what about the person sitting next to you? That person may not be vaccinated. That person may not have that source of procuring the important targeted medicines. All right, so there may be differences of economic state. There may be differences of some other physical some other physical well-being. All right, so in order to ensure that everyone has that access of public hygiene and immunization, it is very important that all these cases, all these factors are there in everyone's mind, and they are working against it. They are working for it, so that everyone is able to prevent any airborne disease such as COVID-19 is still prevalent, right? So you need to ensure that everyone around you, including yourself, you're wearing masks, you're protecting yourself as well as others, because even if anyone is infected, that is gonna lead this infectious chain again. Why? Because infectious diseases, they can be contaminated, they can be contracted from an infected person to a healthy person. So the safety and security of each one is very important. So this was all that we had to learn in this chapter. Why do we fall ill? I hope that I was able to help you among all the important concepts and among all the difficult concepts. And I hope that you go through this, you have a look at this, you follow up all the questions, and wherever you are stuck, you go through that slide, you go through that respective area where I have taught you and explained you the process, and I hope that you study well. So thank you so much for joining me here in study room, and I'll be meeting you for the other important biology lessons. So thank you, take care and study well.